We need to talk about the bomb itself, okay, and what. So you're at the bottom of a huge, very tall skyscraper. Someone you're familiar with comes up to you and tells you you have to go to the top and check out the magnificent view. They insist, and they insist so hard to the point where you give in. You'll go to the top and you'll see this view. Now, you had an older woman with you as well as a younger person with you. They accompanied you on the elevator and you guys rose to the top together. Now, just like this person told you, it was a magnificent view from the top. Then suddenly, the building began to shake. Everything began to rumble. And suddenly, everything began to crumble. Right from under your feet, there went the floor. Down, traveling towards earth, you're falling. The older woman who was with you is falling. The younger person who was with you is falling. And everyone in the building is falling. Now, as the debris is falling, as the furniture and equipment and building is falling all around you, you begin to realize the building is imploding. And if the building is imploding, that means someone strategically set it up to do so. Boom! You hit the ground. And all of the debris and all of the smoke is everywhere. All of the people who fell were casualties of this tragic implosion. But suddenly, your head pops up from the debris. You stand up and you shake everything off. The older woman who was with you, she pops her head up. She stands up. She shakes everything off. The younger person who was with you pops their head up. They shake everything off and they stand up. You guys join hands and you begin to walk off into the sunset, leaving all of the destruction behind you. But as you catch eyes with the person who insisted that you go up to the top, the very top of this same building, it hits you. This was a setup. What's up, everybody? All right, so we are going to be jumping into these messages, and I'm going to be breaking down this scenario as it pertains to the energy surrounding you guys during this time. Yes, someone maybe presently or in the past, or maybe this is for you guys to know in the future, someone has plotted and planned strategically your rise and downfall. So as we're moving through this time, the present, things are shifting, things are changing. I told you guys before, what was once right is now wrong, and what was wrong was now right. But in the midst of things shifting, so are people's perspective and mindset. So in these messages today, I'm going to be showing you how the person who set this whole thing up, how they have shifted their mindset towards you and the things that they have done. Because little did they know that the things that they set to destroy you, you would rise from. Okay? And there are a few other little things in between that I need to tell you guys as far as the energy goes. So we're going to be starting here on YouTube. If you are seeing this video before the 1st, don't come over to Patreon until the 1st. Patreon charges the day you join, when you join the 31st, and then they also charge the 1st ahead of time for the rest of that month. So if you join on the 31st, they're going to charge you. And then they're going to turn right back around the next morning and charge you again. So I would wait until the 1st, okay? I just want to make that clear. But for those of you who you don't care, or those who are already watching this video in your Patreon, we're going over there. I have more messages and more breakdowns as far as our scenario, okay? So let us get started. I want you guys to take a look at the screen. As you can see, there are 3 numbers. I want you guys to choose the number that you're most drawn to for your message. And of course, you can listen to each and every single one of these, but the number you choose just may be a little bit more highlighted in your life at this time. So without further ado, let's get to these messages. All right, so if you chose number 1, this is about the person who planted the bomb, who set up the implosion. Now, for those who don't know what I'm saying, explosion, it goes out. The implosion means it falls inward, okay? You have to strategically plan and set things up in order for things to fall into a pile like that, to contain it, okay? So strategic planning and plotting in order to do those things, all right? But remember how I gave you guys a little bit of an intro when I was telling you how this person's mindset has shifted? Okay. This person now realizes that was wrong. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Some of you guys, some stuff, it wasn't even like they didn't even have to do that. Somebody is maybe realizing or thinking, I didn't even have to do that. But how back in the day, certain groups or certain people would look at other groups of people, they could call them names, they could say certain things to them. But now it's like, ooh, you can't say that. You can't talk about that particular group. You can't go down and clowning and using those slurs and certain words to describe them no more, because this is a whole new day and time. That's wrong. There are consequences, right? This is the way this person feels. Things that they used to do, bad behaviors that they used to exhibit, they realize now, ooh, that wasn't right. You ever realize as an adult, like, man, I was a bad little kid? You ever said that to yourself? Or maybe not an overall bad kid, but you realize some of the stuff you did as a child. You was like, ooh, what was I thinking? Okay, and as your understanding and your clarity grew, so did like your understanding of what you've done in the past. This is how this person is feeling. Except the problem is we're adults now. Yeah, that's the problem. We're not children anymore. We're adults. But some people still take their time to evolve or come to certain awakenings. So this person is coming to a certain awakening. Wow, I really was a hater. I really did try to bring this person down. But you want to know what brought them to this conclusion? The fact that you rose again. That's what it is sometimes. Think about the civil rights movement. It's like it was meant to destroy, y'all was meant to be held down. Black people was meant to be held down. We were meant to stay in a certain space. But every time we rose again, and then we rose again, and then we rose again. And now we're to the point where it's like, man, hold on. Let's start marching for them and helping them, where everybody's seeing, everybody's coming to this consensus. This problem ain't went nowhere. It's bigger than we thought. We need to start calling it out. There has been some power and some progress due to the fact that every time something was meant to destroy you, you kept rising again. Okay? This is you. So now you have certain groups of people in your past who are saying, man, I was the oppressor. I was the one who was keeping them down. When we hear people say stuff like, man, they shouldn't have doubted me, or they shouldn't have this and that, I was one of those people. This is how the person is feeling. Okay? I hope this is making sense. Okay. They're asking themselves this question. What was I thinking? Like, what was I on? What was I thinking? Again, think back when you did something real stupid as a child. It's like, man, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. I was just doing, and that's what it was. I got on here, today's clarity is due to the past ignorance. Okay, it's like some things, and when we hear the word ignorance, sometimes we give it such a bad negative connotation, but sometimes it's just simply you didn't know. That's why ignorance is bliss. I'm just running around plotting and planning your downfall and playing chess and hurting your feelings. Think about how people do sometimes when they're going through their little phase. Oh, I'm just going to hurt everybody's feelings. I don't care. And then one day you wake up like, wait a minute, that's not right. Other people are involved. Other people got to live their life with the destruction that I create in it. Like, that's not right. Especially when karma starts knocking on the door. That helps to realize as well. Okay? Somebody wishes they could take it back. Okay? You're falling. The debris is all around you. You're realizing, oh no, I've been set up. This person is watching. They see it. Okay? You hit the ground. They think it's over with. But you rose again. And it has the person questioning, oh no. Okay? It changed their mind. It shifted. It even shifted how they thought about you. Like, man, I thought somebody really thought they had that much power. But it didn't work out like that. Okay? Someone is soothing themselves in this moment with this thing? Well, it made sense at the time. I mean, again, remember I was just telling you when you was a kid, it made sense at the time. You know, you're just gonna light the little gasoline on fire, make a little trail, and it's just gonna go to the house and, you know, do a little fire. Next thing you know, the whole fire department, you know, the fire marshal out here, everybody, you know, trying to rebuild. You didn't know. Hey, it made sense at the time, but then you see what destruction it caused. Okay, so that is what this person is going through right now. I hope that was enlightening. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. All right, so if you chose number 2, we're going to rewind a little bit. This has nothing to do with the aftermath or nothing to do with necessarily the fall. Let's rewind back to when you're standing there looking up at this skyscraper and they convince you to go in. Okay? They saw you take the younger person. They saw you take the older person. Okay, which I'm going to break down who those people are in a second. They watched you get on the elevator with these people. They knew these people were going up with you. They also knew these people were going to go down with you as well. So if you chose number 2, the whole theme of your message is, at that time, they didn't care who else got hurt. Okay? So they knew that them doing something, spreading a lie, spreading a rumor, take it how it applies in your life, okay? Cheating, divorcing in an embarrassing, loud way, you know, that wasn't called for. Like, you didn't have to do that, you know, you weren't even right, you know, whatever the case may be, okay? They didn't care who else got hurt. The kids will be affected, your family will be affected. You know, you will be affected. You know how this is going to affect your future, okay? That younger child represents the future, represents your children, how it may affect your children. For some of you guys, if it's a co-parenting situation, you know, baby daddy, baby mama, whatever. This affects the children. Like, somebody can be jealous of the other person, the baby mama, the baby daddy, and try to cause destruction in that person's life. Meanwhile, it's going to affect the children, okay? It's going to cause damage to them too, or so it might. It has the power to. It could, okay? That older woman, okay, again, that represents family. That represents the generation before you. It also, for some of you guys, represents something that you've been given, an inheritance, or it could just be wisdom, certain ways of thinking that you've been blessed with that the other person has not. So they're trying to bring down. This building could represent your brain power, the way you think, your methods, your solutions, the way you come up with answers and get to conclusions, okay? They're trying to bring down your whole mental. You ever heard them say that? You bringing down my whole mental. Okay, for some of y'all, this is what it is, all right? So it's the woman who represents your past and all that you've had instilled in you, all the good things that you've built up. It represents the future, the children, the next generations. But then there were all these unknown citizens, right? And all of them perished. All of them were casualties of this implosion. They didn't make it. They didn't rise again. Which means this is representing all of the stuff and all of the other people that you don't know they've done things to. Okay, I get a very trickster energy with this person, where this person likes to cause havoc. Okay, and this person could have been in your life for a lifetime, a long time, a little time, you know, briefly, in a brief encounter. It doesn't matter. This moment was meant to bring you down, and this person is coming through to me kind of like a trickster type energy. Okay, someone didn't consider the bomb could affect more than just you, or they did consider it, but they didn't care, okay? And again, it's something about the generations that come after. So let's say, for example, I do something, some fraudulent activity with your accounts, or I steal your identity to put these cars and buildings in my name, and then I just let them go to waste on purpose. And all of a sudden, the IRS is looking at you and all this, and they taking this and snatching that and garnishing that. And what you were supposed to build and use for the next generations, now it's gone. You know, something like that. But it may not be that big and that deep for some of you guys. It may be something really small and simple, like I said, a brief encounter, but it is a moment. There were other people who could have been seriously hurt or affected by what they did. But that's okay, because they gonna pay. Let's go ahead and get to the last one. All right, so if you chose number 3, let us fast forward a little bit. We're going to go to the end. We're going to get to the end where you remember how I was telling you guys in the intro at the beginning, when minds change, when things shift and clarity begins to come in, you begin to see your ignorance, you begin to see the errors of your ways of the past, right? It makes sense. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have did that, I should have did that. This is what they said, right? Yeah, you shouldn't have did that, but it doesn't mean just because you realize you shouldn't have did it doesn't mean there aren't going to be consequences. Think about it. Think about the person standing there, okay, the building implodes, all they planned, it went all according to how they planned it, and then they see you rise. And then they see you walk off into the sunset. That's like your beautiful future, your fairy tale ending. All that you wanted is there, okay? But they have to stand there and now realize, woo, 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 the sirens are going off. And all of the police cars are closing in. And now it's time to pay. It's like, well, you didn't die. Yeah, well, you still tried to kill me. So you still have to pay. Okay? Now, for those of you who chose number 3, I said all that to say the energy surrounding you is investigation begins. Charges are now being filed. There's an entire aftermath for you. There's an entire aftermath for them. Your aftermath, you got up with everything that they thought would fall, the generations, all your blessings from the past and the future, walking off to the sunset, beautiful future. That's your aftermath. For them, their aftermath is, now you got to go to jail, okay? Spiritual jail, spiritual court, however you want to do this, okay? But it's time to pay. And this is a huge offense. Some of you guys don't even know the extent of the things that were done behind your back. You hear me? But God knows, the angels know, karma knows, justice knows, the universal balance of the scale knows, okay? So now it's that scale balance in time. And again, I'm going to say this is a huge offense. You don't just go around setting bombs and imploding buildings, hurting all kind of people. Do you know how serious that is? It reminds me of when Left Eye burned down the building. The judge was like, he had neighbors. Did you take into consideration that their houses could have caught on fire? Like, you know, R.I.P. to Left Eye, that was my girl. But still, it's like, yeah, like you really didn't think that through. Okay, or you did, but you didn't care. You know, you was that mad, you was that upset. This is how they felt. They was that mad, that jealous, that upset, wanted to set you up that bad, wanted to see your downfall that bad. Okay, so it's a huge offense in the spirit realm. Now, what happens when you go to jail? Somebody's freedom is about to be stripped. Whatever type of freedom that is, doesn't matter. Okay, financial freedom, and you know, it could actually mean somebody's going to jail, you know, but I think a lot of these things are energetic, spiritually speaking, or whatever. But for some of y'all, it could literally be they're about to go to jail, get caught up on some, you know, legal matter. I got this. The magnitude of damage caused by them is immeasurable or unmeasurable, however you say it. Which means it's like it's a lot of stuff. Like, okay, we got the building, we know how much the framing costs, we know how much, you know, this cost, that cost, we know how much the contractor is gonna charge to come out here and do this thing. But what it took from you, you know, that fall, that's psychologically damaging. You know, all that it took to rise up, to come up from that debris, you know, and then to hope that your blessings still rise and that the future generations still be able to rise even though somebody tried to destroy you or destroy what your business is. Like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. You know, they tried to destroy that whole empire that's within you. Okay, so karma, judgment, justice, this is the aftermath that's coming. And with some of you guys, this is supposed to bring, like, I guess, a peace of mind, because I keep getting this energy of somebody still looking over their shoulder. Somebody is so used to being set up or so used to being manipulated or so used to implosions happening. First, go, this is your rise, and then bow, you on the ground again. Somebody picks you up just to knock you back down. Some of y'all have been in that energy for so long or have experienced that so much that you got this looking over my shoulder kind of paranoid type energy. And this is telling you that not only like when the building fell, and the plan failed, so did that energy. Some of y'all have destroyed that energy. See, the enemy thought that they was going to destroy you, but they helped you destroy that energy or that vibration. So now that you've risen again, you've risen to a higher vibration, you may not experience or attract those type of people anymore moving forward into the future, okay? These type of people you may be able to recognize more quickly if they do somehow align and bring themselves into your vortex, as Abraham Hicks says. So they thought that was destroying you, but they helped you to rise. And every time you rise, you get stronger. Remember, I told you that civil rights movement, like every time somebody got destroyed, somebody rose again and kept rising again and kept rising again to today, all the way to today. A black girl like me can sit here and do what I'm doing freely. You feel what I'm saying? That's what happens when you fall but you rise, and you fall but you rise. And like I was telling you, just like in this thing, the scenario of that child being there. Some of us, we are that child of like our ancestors, and whatever race you are, whatever you feel like this applies in your life, we are those children, which means we were once somebody's dream, somebody's future, okay? We're living and doing the things that they can only dream of. So the same thing for you all. Someone tried to destroy that, but you still have the power to overcome and make it anyway, okay? So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. All right, so we're going to take this over to Patreon, and we're going to be breaking down some things even further. We're going to be talking about the fact that you walked away. We need to talk about some things during that fall, because remember, when you were falling, you weren't just falling, you were aware of the fall. You were having a thought process while this thing was going down, okay? We need to talk about the bomb itself, okay, and what... Now, y'all see how when I said the bomb itself, something fell, right? Woo, that was very scary. Okay, so that lets you know we're in sync. That was a synchronicity, confirmation, the bomb. Something dropped or something was set to explode or destroy. We're going to be talking about that. Then we're going to be talking about from the top to the bottom. What does that mean? Okay, the rise and then the fall. Then we need to talk about on the other side of the dust. What does this mean for you actually moving forward? We're going to break down those scenarios, and I'll be telling you more information surrounding this energy. If this is where it ends for you, thank you so much for all of your likes, your subscribers, and shares. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys wait until the 1st before you join Patreon. You can join anytime after the 1st, but I do not recommend joining at the last of the month. They charge the day that you join as well as on the 1st regardless, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video if you enjoyed what you heard. And thank you guys so much once again. I'll see you all in the next video.